what an absolute joy and a pleasure to meet you, Barry, a couple of weeks ago at the Kenny Burns evening over there in Birmingham. And you know what? My belly's still aching from laughing from that night, mate. It was absolutely incredible, superb, brilliant, well done. Let's welcome the rest of the crew tonight. We've got the one and only Alan Watton.
Good evening, everyone.
And, of course, Mr. Rowe, Mr. COVID himself.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Are you feeling better?
Not better. Not 100%, but 90%, I'd say.
All right, okay. Well, if you do fall asleep, we'll understand why.
Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Hipkiss, a.k.a. Mr. Sheen.
Good evening, all.
And, of course, this show wouldn't be the same without Mrs. Browne.
Good evening.
A great and wonderful weekend this weekend, Chris, where your daughter's got married.
She
Absolute congratulations to her. Wonderful. Love to see all the photographs on Facebook. Absolutely beautiful. Weather kept nice and everything. So
fantastic.
Yeah, superb. Did you have a nice day?
It was brilliant, yeah. Sorry your invite got lost, but, you know.
You're sorry it got lost?
Your invite?
Yeah, the only reason I'm sorry I got lost is because I missed the buffet.
Yeah, it was great as well, yeah. Yeah, nice big hog roast as well.
Oh, I'm having a hog roast for my 60th. Have I mentioned my 60th ever?
No, when is it?
Not ever. It's 18th of December, downstairs. Right. Okay. Downstairs here in Uttoxeter. And, yeah, I'm having a hog roast.
Very nice. Very nice.
I'm going to name the pig Bo. We could all have a slice of it. Barry, welcome to the Tilton Talk Show, Monday 7:30 through till 9. Hope you can stay with us as long as possible, but if you do need something to eat, or you need to go and have a wee, because like older people, they Chris has got a bucket under the table, Ken. Take a leaf out of this man's book. Barry, a pleasure to have you with us tonight. Thank you so much for giving up your time.
My pleasure to join you.
Oh,
you did a great job. Well done.
You know what?
Carry on the good work.
I ain't joking you, mate. You don't know how much everybody that remembers you at St Andrews loves you. You are Father St Andrews. You really are, mate. Honestly, I genuinely mean that. Grandfather St Andrews. Now I should take it.
Yeah, of course.
Yay. So there you are down at Peterborough now. And what's happening down there lately?
We're struggling. Apart from when we
struggle about us. Right.
We got promotion last year after 7 years of trying to get back to the championship. We've been there 3 times as well, but we got relegated on all 3 occasions. We've got the lowest budget in the league, and we know it's going to be difficult. But I thought this year with COVID, the effect that it's had on a lot of clubs, I thought it would give us a chance to retain our championship status. And we're very, very poor away from home at the minute. We've lost all 4 games. At home, we're not so bad at home. But it's a marathon, not a sprint. We're well behind in the sprint early on, but we've got to adapt very quickly. And what's wrong, we've got to put right. But I'm sure Darren Ferguson's working on that every day of the week.
Well, you know what? The times that we had with you at St Andrews, said just before the show, you are solely responsible in the whole world for the technical area. Absolutely.
Yeah, because go out of it so that, I know. And look, I'm just like you Blue Noses. I'm a fan at heart, and when we scored, I didn't know what I was going to do. But
we like that nowadays.
Fine, and it was great. The fans responded, like I said earlier. The Blue Noses are as mad as what I am, and that's why we got on so well. We're both very passionate and committed for our club, and there's nobody more so got the passion and the commitment than Birmingham City fans, that's for sure. And
that's an absolute joy to hear, mate, honestly.
And to be honest, you've been in turmoil for so many times. You was in turmoil before I came to the club. In fact, before Sullivan.
Yeah, then what did you do? Got us relegated.
Yeah. Well, you was already bottom of the drift, but by a long shot when I come in December. But although we had a great run at the end, I think we won 6, drew 2, lost 1 of the last 9 games.
Yeah.
The last game at Tranmere was absolutely fantastic. We won that, but unfortunately, the Baggies beat Jim Smith's Portsmouth, and they stayed up on goal difference. We got from bottom to 4th bottom, but we still got relegated. But I'll never forget that day at Tranmere. Copper come into the dressing room and said, Barry, you and the players will have to go out. The fans are all dressed up in fancy dress and they won't leave. They're on the pitch. So we all went out thinking we'd get murdered, and the fans ran at us. I thought they was going to string me up. They put me on this and run round, as though they did all the lads, and run round the ground. I mean, it's fantastic, unbelievable. Yeah. And after that, I said, well, we'll do the double next year. We'll win the league and we'll win the auto windscreen shield. Everybody laughed at me, especially after 5 games. We hadn't won a game.
Yeah.
But we did have a lot of injuries, and I knew once we got it right. And again, that year was fantastic. The fans come back in their droves. Again, I'll never forget the Huddersfield game where we got promotion. Again, all the fans was dressed in fancy dress, and that time we wanted to go out on the pitch after the game to celebrate. And I remember Neil Warnock saying, the Coppers won't let you. And me and David Gold just went by the Coppers and went onto the pitch to the end where all the fans was, and all the players followed us, and the reception we got from the Blue Noses was unbelievable. And then, of course, you talk about winning the double and going to Wembley. I mean, what a day that was. There was 78,000 for the auto windscreen shield final, of which 55,000 was Blue Noses.
Yeah.
The golden goal. And it took another Blue Nose, Tatey, to score the winner.
He scored the first one. He scored the first golden goal, if I remember right. I was at the game against Swansea City.
Swansea, yeah. In the
group. I'm sure he scored.
Well done.
He was the first person to score the first golden goal, and the first person in that same competition to score it in the final as well, ever.
Yeah.
I think Baz, when we had Daishi on as well, he said there was a problem with the ties or something, and he had to walk down the London High Street at Wembley and try and find a shop to sell some ties.
Yeah, we that's right. We for some reason or other, the club wanted promotion more than they wanted that. And, you know, I asked after the game, win, lose or draw, I wanted to stay in London. And the board said no, because if you remember, we had Brentford at home on the Wednesday, which I think they was top, we were second at the time. And we beat them, marvellous, 25,000 sellout at St Andrews, marvellous occasion. We beat them 2-0 and went top. But with the ties, he had to go in. I don't know where he went in, Marks and Spencer's, and got a load of ties, so we all looked the same. And we wasn't supposed to have a celebration, but we did, and we went to the Swallow Hotel in Enfield. And while we was having a knees up, I got a phone call from Karen, giving me the biggest bollocking I've ever had.
Oh, swear on, number one!
Because she said to me, I said, I've just had Doug Ellis on. I went, what about? She said, didn't you see when Tatey scored the goal, he took his shirt off? I said, yeah, it's to celebrate. He said, yeah, you know what he had underneath? You told him to put it on. I said, what are you talking about, Karen? She said it had Villa. I don't know nothing about it. She said, yes, you did. I've heard you give every single player a shirt to wear, so whoever scored, that's what happened. I said, Karen, I don't know what you're talking about. And I didn't know what she talked about. I didn't have a clue. But obviously, Tatey being Tatey, somebody done the shirt, and of course he wore it because he knew he was going to score the golden goal.
Yeah,
right. Tate has given us an account of that, and apparently there was a box of shirts. Everybody was going to take one, and that was the last shirt left. It wasn't planted, it wasn't planned, right? He doesn't know where that shirt is today, sadly, else it would be worth an arm and a leg. Yeah. And he also said that Sullivan and Gold and Brady called him into the office on the Monday morning, right? And said he thought he was going to get the sack. He was like really cacking himself and one thing or that. And his words were, they called me into the office, sat me down, right? Sullivan went, that shirt. He goes, yeah, Gaffer, I'm sorry. He said, don't be sorry. He said, we'll market him in the club shop tomorrow. Take his own words.
No, I mean, I got the blame. Karen thought I'd give every player. I didn't even think about that. All I thought about was winning the game and celebrating, and then going back to the main event, playing Brentford at home on a Wednesday. What a magnificent game that! I've never known an atmosphere at St Andrews like it was that night. It was electric.
Yeah,
but then we had a few more games to seal our promotion, and we stumbled. We drew, and like I say, we had to go to Huddersfield away from home last game of the season to win, but we all felt confident that we would win. And that was a year, if you remember, only one went up because there was a change of the leagues. So it's very, very important that we won that game.
Yeah.
Was that the same year we played Wigan away right again of the season?
I can't remember. Okay,
No.
it was
91. 1991.
28 years ago.
No,
wasn't it?
I've got a badge in my. I've got a museum here.
Yeah.
Right, Barry, your photograph is on my wall in my museum.
Oh.
Right. Yeah. I look at it regular. And
So's Darcy.
I bought one of the pin badges which said Birmingham City Division 3 champions. So it was that year, wasn't it? We got promoted. No, it was the year before, I think. Wasn't it? No, the year after. But anyway, I've got a badge which says Birmingham City Division 1 champions, 1990, whatever it was, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we only drew against Wigan, and it absolutely slung it down. And there we all are, stood on that grass bank in Wigan, diving on our backs from the top to the bottom, right? And then all did the conga around the ground. And I got back home. I got a company car, white Ford Mondeo, I think, or something like that. It looked like a cow shed by the time I got home, mate.
I know. It was incredible. What the Birmingham City fans got up to was nothing short of miraculous at times. I mean, you didn't know what they was going to do next. But marvellous support. All the lads loved the support you give us. It lifted us at times when we needed lifting, and everybody talks about the fans being the 12th man. During my 2.5 years at Birmingham City, the fans were certainly the 12th man. They lifted us so many times.
We've had so many people on this show, Barry, right, who have played in your era that have said exactly the same thing. Now, what we need to do, because 3 parts of the stadium is unfortunately still shut due to reasons beyond our control. No, another story, kid, for another day, perhaps. I don't know. But, we need to get back to the Barry Fry era, right? And lift that team like there is no tomorrow, like that Brentford game, right? We should be like that every single week. But because, and I think you'll bear me out on this, mate, because we've been trodden on so many times by these current owners, right, by these current owners. Look, for God's sake, you know what it is? That's a team called Birmingham City, the second biggest city in the country. Yeah. There isn't a team called London. All right, you've got Little London Road, you know. I went down there. I went down. That was the very first time I went to your place, right? Was all the Birmingham fans were outside, and I think you got one turnstile open. I know money was a bit short at that time, right? But all sitting outside singing "My Garden Shed is Bigger Than This," and that's the very first time I heard that song. The team is Birmingham. It's the second biggest city. Newcastle have just been taken over by billionaire Saudi owners. Oh no! I tell you what,
that's what Birmingham needs. Somebody like that. Yeah.
A Barry Fry. That's what we need. Barry Fry with all that money. Yeah. All them pots of pounds.
I haven't got the money.
If I may, we'll take it back. We get promoted, obviously, that season at Huddersfield, and then the following summer we were linked, and I wondered how close we were to signing them. We were linked with Kenneth Anderson, Jean-Pierre Papin, and Diego Maradona.
Yeah.
And I just wondered...
that was all publicity talk.
No.
Really? You see?
To get the fans to buy the season tickets.
Did you, Barry, can I ask you a question? Did you start the rumours?
Yes. I said we've got to get our fans more excited. They can't be any more excited than what they are, but throw in this name, that name, and the other name, and let's get going.
And we ended up with Francis and Otto and Claridge.
Yeah, I know.
Brilliant. for you. Message for you from Big Kev. He said he wants to send a message to you just to say thanks for bringing him home.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
brilliant.
He was marvellous. When I signed him, I used to watch him a lot at Stockport County on a Friday night, and I thought, what an handful, you know. But he's a blue nose through and through, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He'd run through a brick wall for you, and I'll never forget the 2 goals he scored against Middlesbrough when Brian Robson was in charge in the Coca-Cola Cup to get to the semi-final. Yeah. Wow, what 2 unbelievable! But he got injured then. With his second goal, he sort of snapped his knee. But what 2 sensational goals they was.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Buzz. The one against Leeds as well. That home leg.
Yeah.
What a goal that was.
Yeah, the thing that buggered us up with Leeds in the semi, the club decided to sell 2 or 3 of our best players before that game, and also we had a couple of suspensions during that for the Leeds game that really buggered us because strength in depth at that particular time. But it was still a great achievement for the club to go on that run. Coca-Cola. Get as far as they could. We beat Norwich as well, didn't we? Playing some football.
Yeah.
And it was great. And we're talking about cups. The FA Cup when we had Liverpool at home. Players and not went to Anfield, drew 1-1 after extra time. The Liverpool fans give our players a standing ovation. They was brilliant that night. Yeah. And Otto scored, but he should have scored the winner, but there you go. And we had penalties, and I remember going in after to the press, and they said, Barry, you've done marvellous at St Andrews to draw 0-0 with a mighty Liverpool, to bring them here at Anfield and drew 1-1 and, get a standing ovation. And he says, but what went wrong with the penalties? And I said, well, we got such spirit at Birmingham City. All the players are together, and once one player missed the penalty, we all decided to make What a load of Oh, really?
Oh my God! Oh, good God!
The players was fantastic. We had a brilliant spirit amongst us, and never say goodbye. We wanted to enjoy ourselves and we loved the fans. The support from the fans was the main thing, really. We wanted to do it for them.
Okay. So we get relegated, right? And you come out onto the pitch, despite what the police are saying to you or whatever, right? And there's just a load of nutters, right, going mental, thinking that we just won the World Cup. How did you handle your players after that back in the dressing room? You know what? We've just dropped a division. However, look at that outside.
Yeah. To be honest, we all came in the dressing room and cried our eyes out.
Like I did, and my sons.
But we cried our eyes out because we thought we'd done enough to stay up. But I knew on the Friday, because Jim Smith phoned me on the Friday. He said, Baz, I love Birmingham City. I want to beat West Brom tomorrow, but I've got to tell you, I've got 7 players not available for me. So,
really?
So he sort of warned me that it wasn't for the want of trying, but his 7 best players.
What an absolute gentleman to do that, though. What a gentleman.
Jim but he was making excuses beforehand. But after that game, like I say, and after we'd been on the field and the fans put everybody on their shoulders and run round, we all came in the dressing room and cried our eyes out because although we was disappointed, I don't think until that moment we realised how passionate and committed the fans were. They'd had great support throughout the fight in relegation that year, but we never, we just all broke down. It was so emotional to have a response from the fans when you've got been relegated, for sake. It was absolutely...
I'm going to need one of them clickers in a minute.
I have downloaded a bleep and I can't find
it. I forgot you.
Right, Barry, I can tell you something that is absolutely true, right? You've sworn more times tonight than anybody else has in the last 11 years.
God. I must apologise to ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls for my foul and abusive language. It's nothing personal. It's just a lack of fucking vocabulary.
Right, Barry, do you remember the programme that you did with, whether it was ITV or BBC, I don't know, watching you in the dressing room?
Oh, the panorama one.
Yeah, the panorama one, following you around,
yeah, that's right, yeah. What was it called now? What was it? It was with Karen Brady.
Singing the blues, wasn't it? Singing the blues.
It was an inside-out production.
Yeah.
I can't think what it was called.
I remember the manageress with Karen when you first took over, Baz. That was a little documentary, wasn't it? That was on BBC Two, I think.
Yeah, and you went into the dressing room and really looked the play. Yeah. No, I said it in three syllables.
Unfortunately, they could be joined together.
I love Martin Granger's story, Baz, when he signed for us and he met you in the Copthorne Hotel in Birmingham. Him and his missus, you was in your hotel room. They've come up to see you, and you got your pants on with your shirt and tie.
Tell us that one, Baz.
Actually, that happened to me on television. Gone in and read me one, and they was running out of time, so they came to me and I put my shirt on and my tie, and that's all. I run out of the shower. So when they finished, they sort of took the camera down and see me naked. Everybody laughed by me.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we at the Tilton Talk Show try to have a little bit of decorum on this show, and we invite Barry Fry on.
Yeah, you're a bit balmy. That's what I said to you.
I love it, mate. I love it. You know what, though? Tell us a story that we were talking about prior to the show about when you signed a certain individual and you got a blue jacket on.
Yeah, that wasn't for Birmingham City. That was for Peterborough.
Oh, go on.
And it was a player that we had, Miguel de Souza. And I was arguing as usual with the agent about he wanted this and he wanted that. And I said, well, we're Peterborough United, not Man United. Anyway, eventually he wanted this, he wanted that. I said, no, you can have this, you can have that. And they eventually agreed, and I went, sold to the factory in the Blue Blaze. And you tell me that's still about.
It is, yeah.
It's on YouTube, that is.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm old school. I don't go on social media or YouTube or whatever they call it, Facebook. I don't know.
You have definitely, without a
Bart.
doubt, you've definitely left a legacy at St Andrews, right? And I know, Mark, you're nodding. Paul, I'm sure you are. Alan, I know you are. And Chris, I know you are. But the legacy that you left us, Barry, was that we had belief again, and we had something to really proper look forward to on a Saturday. Win, lose or draw, we knew that you and your guys would be out there giving us nothing more than we demand as supporters, 100%.
I think it's fun as well. Fun came top as well.
The fun was amazing.
Yeah, well, we enjoyed it, and you know, the thing was, I first fell in love with Birmingham City supporters, as I told you, a long time before I joined the club, when I went to Wembley and see you win in the Leyland Duck and see the supporters celebrate. I went, wow, you know, they're lunatics like me. And so when Birmingham come in for me in December, Southend at the time was second top of the championship, and everybody thought I was an idiot to go to Birmingham, who was bottom of the championship. But I just remember, I just felt that Birmingham City was a sleeping giant, and if I could get it going, the fans would come in their droves and, you know, absolutely pick the club up and make it survive and prosper and go forward. And I honestly felt that when I come in there that we could possibly go to the Premier League. That didn't happen, and you know, but I had no hesitation in leaving Southend to go to Birmingham, despite them being bottom of the league. And if you remember, the first game, it was we played Tilton. First game was Palace, and we lost 2-1.
Yeah.
And then the second game at home, we played Charlton 1-0. I think there was 18,000 there. Then we played West Brom on the Boxing Day, and there was 26,000 there, 25,000, and we beat them as well. Yeah. And I thought, wow, this is going well. And come the new year, unfortunately, we to Kidderminster in the FA Cup.
I remember that well. I was stood on that top, mate, believe me.
Missed a penalty and what have you. And then we went a few games and didn't win and what have you. But then we come with a great run at the end, but it was just too late. It crept us up the table, four places, but we went down on goal difference. So it was a sad time, but it was also an interesting time. But the fans came back. And we had some wonderful wins. We went all over the place and won. And the fans loved that goal-mouth action. They loved the players to entertain. And I used to say my team talk was, I don't care if the opposition scored 2 or 3. We want to score 5, 6 or 7. Yeah. I think we did.
I remember once, Barry, we played Chester City in the 3rd division, right? What was? And I think we played it at Chesterfield. Do you remember?
Go on.
Don't remember that.
I was one of the first people there with a good friend of mine called Lee Hadley, who I haven't seen for many years. I must get in touch with him. And this little burly, chubby policewoman was bringing us into the field, parking the field opposite the football ground, proper parking there. There's fields in Chesterfield. That's why it's called Field. And she pulled us into park up. We parked up and we get out of the car. Hey, lads, you're right. And of course, I'm always chatting. I've not been one of these people to ever be in any trouble at football whatsoever. And I says, "Hi, Bab, you're right, look." She goes, "Oh yeah, there's about 600 of you coming to that." I'm just past 6,000 on the M6, love. I said, "You better get some more fields open." And the Blues fans were climbing over the top of the roof to get in and everything because it was mayhem. Yeah. And they were dropping down 20 foot and people were catching them. Oh, mad as that was our mate, honestly. And another one that I remember going down to Oxford, and they had that away end that didn't have a roof on it.
No, correct.
Right at the end of the game, at the end of the old Manor Ground, the end of the game, it's Birmingham City fan. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Birmingham City fan decided to climb the floodlights, and we're all going, "The Blues are going up, the Blues are going up," and and he fell off and broke his leg.
Oh, Christ, poor bugger!
I'll tell you what, that's 10.
Baz, I wanted to ask you, Baz, if I can, what in your managerial career or in your whole career, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice I've ever been given was a piece of advice that Matt Busby gave Sir Alex when he was at Man United and going through a bad time. And Sir Alex said to Matt that, you know, the papers are saying this, the papers are saying that, blah, blah. And Sir Matt said to him, well, you know the answer to that, don't read the papers. And whenever I was getting stick.
Because you actually played for Manchester United, didn't you, Barry?
Hey?
You played for Manchester United, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I was there. But yeah, when I played for England schoolboys 6 times, scored 5 goals, and then I left to go to Man United. I was there 2 years apprentice and 2 years as a pro. But funny enough, I had problems. You know, when you play football, you get knee in the thigh, you get a dead leg and all that. But mine sort of instead of bruising and dispersing, they clotted. Right. And you know, put me out of the game in my early 20s for sort of 7 months on crutches, and then it happened to my other leg, and I was out again for that length of time. And the doctors said that there's something wrong with my blood. Instead of dispersing, it clots, and if the clot travelled to your heart, you're dead. So as a 20-year-old, you feel as fit as anything, and you don't want to be told that. But later on in life, I must say that I did have 2 heart attacks, and it was good advice at the time that I didn't really take any notice. But because of that, it stopped me having a career as a player. And my first managerial role, I was only 28 at Dunstable. After that, I lasted 32 years in management, lads. And I, like you, are absolutely amazed I lasted that long. Only so far bullshit can take you.
11. Tell us a story, Barry, about your children on walking out onto the pitch at Wembley.
My children was marvellous at Wembley because I had all four of them go out at Wembley, although I was only allowed one mascot. So my son Adam went. He came to every game with me. He was on the bench at every game with me and all that. And in actual fact, when I got the sack, I'll tell you about getting the sack because it's the strangest thing ever. We played, like I said, the team from across the road.
You've done all 10 swear words and you've managed not to say that word.
And it was the night of the Sports Argus Awards. So basically, I had to be there for the game. We beat them 2-0. We finished up with 9 players. Alan Jones, the secretary, told me it was the first time that Birmingham had won the Birmingham Senior Cup for 17 years. And it's the biggest trophy I've ever seen. So I took it to the Sports Argus Awards, and at the top table was David Gold and his brother Ralph, and of course Doug Ellis. So I gave the cup to Doug, and he said, "Oh, how many did we beat you by?" I said, "You never beat us at all, mate. We beat you 2-0. It ain't yours. It's the Golds." And the So, I mean, David Gold in particular was very good to me when I was at Birmingham. They used to come on a Friday night when we used to stay overnight. He used to say, "Well, once the lads have gone to bed, we'll have a glass of wine and chat about things and all that." He was very good. And this particular night afterwards, we had one drink and he said, "Oh, I'm going to bed." And Ralph said, "I'm going to bed." And then Gary Newbond come over, actually, and he said, "Oh,
Who?
Yeah. Who are you? Who are you?" So he said to me, "Oh, have you got any signings for next year?" I went, "Yeah." I said, I've met Marcus Stewart. I've signed him on a 3-year contract. I've got to go to a tribunal. He was a centre forward from Bristol Rovers at the time, got loads and loads of goals.
Yeah.
And done well in the Championship and went on. And I've said I've also signed Martin O'Connor from Walsall. And, you know, I've got to go to the tribunal with them. But I've met them. I've met their agents. I've got the blue contracts in my briefcase. He went, "Oh, the Blues fans will be pleased with that. What do you think about that, David?" To David Golden. David sort of, he couldn't get away quick enough. He went to bed early and I didn't quite understand why. Until the next morning, I went into St Andrews. I went in the physio room. There was a couple of lads, because of the war the night before there was a couple of injured lads and what have you. So then I went upstairs and it was night of the LMA Awards night as well. And I'd invited Jolly Jack Wiseman as my guest because he likes a game of golf in the afternoon and he likes a cigar and a drink at night. So I invited him as my guest. So he was coming with me. So I was in the office on the phone and he walked by and I thought, that's strange because he normally pokes his head in. "First team's here, swinging," you know how it is, bubbly Jack. Yeah. He walked by me anyway. I finished my phone conversation and went down the office. He was in Karen's office. Karen wasn't there. He was by himself walking round. So I went in. I went, "All right, Jack." He said, No. He said, I can't come today. I said, "You can't come today?" I said, "Don't worry. It's only a piss up, mate. He ran the golf."
11.
Don't worry. He said, No. And he started welling up. He said, no, I can't. I said, "What's the matter?" "It doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter." He said, "Yeah, it does. I can't come." I said, "Well, why can't you come?" He said, "Because you got the sack." I said, "I got the sack?" So he said, "Yeah." So Alan Jones was across the road and I went, and he broke down. Big Jack broke down. I went, Alan, here." So he come across the road. He went, "Well," I said, "Jack's just told me I got the sack." So I looked at Alan's face and I could tell. I said, "When the bloody hell did this happen?" He said, 3 weeks ago. Nobody had told me. It was unbelievable. So I went downstairs. I went in the physio room again and the lad says to me, Neil said, "You all right, Gaffer?" I went, "No, I've just got the sack." So he said, "Why?" I said, "I ain't got a clue." I said, I phoned Sullivan, phoned Karen, I phoned Gold, I've phoned everybody, can't get hold of them. So anyway, I got in my car and I was going to Shopwell House, which is St Albans, for the afternoon and the evening. I thought, bloody hell, I got a call in at Bedford from my home.
Well,
Tell my wife. So I've got in, walked in the door, she's upstairs. I went, Kirst, you ain't going to believe this, love. She shouted down, yeah, you got the sack. You got 84 messages. Everybody knew about me. So anyway, she come downstairs. She said, look, we've got to pick the kids up. You'll have to tell the kids before you go to Shopwell House. So took the kids. She took 3 of them home. I took Adam and we walked home and I just said, look, son, I've got the sack. So he said, why, Dad? I said, I don't know why. I haven't been able to talk to anybody yet, but I've got the sack. So I said, it happens in football. You know, we've had a wonderful time. We'll get on. So we're walking home. We go in the garden and there's like 20 press, cameras, everything. So he runs in. I do an interview. I ain't got a clue what I said. And then I go in and I go upstairs and get ready to go out. And I'm walking past some bedrooms and I hear my son crying. You know, when they cry uncontrollably and they can't get
yes.
It's horrible. And I went in his room and Kirst, my wife's cuddling him. And he had all these rosettes, scarves, pictures of Blues all around his wall. And he'd ripped them all off and they was all on the floor.
Oh,
How sad.
Like hell. You know, it was heartbreaking. And I said to Kirst, I can't go tonight. She said, you got to go, Barry. You got to go. I'll sort it out. Go. She's brilliant, my missus. So anyway, I walked downstairs and at the bottom of the stairs is my daughter, Anna Marie, skipping and jumping about saying, goody, goody, goody. Daddy's got the sack. Daddy's got the sack. So I said, what's the matter with you? Why are you so pleased that Dad's got the sack? She said, at least I'll see you now.
Oh, bless.
The emotion, your kids, you know. Anyway, I went to Shopwell House and they was having dinner and I walked in and to be fair, all the league managers stood up and applauded me in the room and that was worth, boy, you can't buy it. You know what I mean? It was just great. And Trevor was there, to be fair. And he came over and he said, oh, you've done a great job at Blues. You know, you got them going again. I went, yeah. I said, you know, you'll be the next manager, Trev. He went, well, they've already asked me 5 times, but it wasn't the time to come in at that time. You know, you've been successful and all that. But he said this time it might be. And you know, he took over. Now, I wish they'd have said, you know, come and see us here. Is a glass of beer or a glass of champagne or something. You've took us as far as you can. You know, we want to give the job to Trevor Francis. I'd have said, oh, great. You know, he's on a different level to what I am. And if you back him, he'll take you to the promised land. But Trev was unlucky, to be fair. Nearly,
Yeah.
Nearly, man.
Very, very unlucky. And then, you know, all the Blue Noses wanted him to do it, but he didn't. And then Steve Bruce took over and he done it, didn't he? So
He did, yeah. Are you still sending Christmas cards out to the Golds, Sullivans and Brady?
I am actually. Yeah, okay. I am. I tell you what, they treat me better now than when I was manager. they invite me to. In fact, I went last Thursday as David Gold's guest when they played in Europe, and obviously David Sullivan and David Gold. They always invited me, all of them. They look after me and my wife, or me and my boys. Adam came with me last week. You know, we sit in a director's box on the halfway line. We have a meal before the game. That they treat me absolutely fantastic. They really.
We didn't actually get to the end of the story where you managed to get all 4 kids to come out at Wembley.
Yeah. Well, I did. I've got pictures of them all coming out.
Oh yeah, I know. I was there, mate. I watched it. But you were only allowed one, so how did you, Barry Fry, manage to get all 4 of your lovely children to walk down that tunnel with you?
So you
Gift
know.
to the Gab, it's called. Gift to the Gab.
You ain't got that, mate. You ain't got that.
Did you
I ain't got it now, but I used to have it.
Mark,
You
come
certainly
on,
had it at the Kenny Burns night last week.
What a absolute fantastic occasion that was for me and my family.
Beautiful.
And when we scored the winning goal in the auto windscreen, and there's a lovely picture of somebody shouting me from the crowd, all the blue noses, and I ran over and it was my wife. And I give
Right.
You know what? You, there's minutes like that in your life that you just you can't change, but like those are defining moments of your life, aren't they?
Yeah,
well, she's put up with me for 43 years, the silly sod, but
13.
She's been brilliant for me. She's when you get down, she tells me what's happening in the real world because I'm just football through and through like you lads.
Right.
Mark, you wanted to say something earlier, Mark. Did you want to come in?
I was going to say, Baz, you know when you had your kids on the pitch at Wembley?
Yeah.
I bet you named them as subs.
I tried to, but the referee wouldn't accept it.
I bet you signed. How many players from Birmingham City did you actually sign?
I'll tell you a story. I actually had 46 players on the books. And I'll tell you a story. Karen went on holiday and she come back 3 days early. Otherwise, I'd have made it to 50. But let me tell you about them 46 players, because it's a bit of a myth. At that time, we had a decent youth team. That I always take notice of the youths. We had a first team and we had a reserve team that played in the Central League up, Everton, Liverpool, Man United, all them sides. And then we had a youth team. Now, the youth team, under 18s, it was too big a jump, in my opinion, to go from that to play in our reserves at Everton, Liverpool, Man United and all that. So I needed something in between. So I joined a league called the Capital League, which was a London league, really. And we played our under-21s in that. And we won the double in that, which didn't get any publicity at all. But it helped me develop young players that I had coming through. And at that time, the first team used to have 14 players, only 3 subs. So we had 14 players for the first team, 14 players for the reserves in the Central League, and then another 14 for the Capital League, which makes you up to 42. But we had a few extra, you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a myth I had 46 pros. I did, but some of them was on like 100 quid a week, a lot of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it wasn't a big burden. But what it did help was us to develop younger players to become first-team players.
Alan wanted to come in as well. Do you want to come in, Alan?
I was just thinking about an incident. We were watching that. I was watching that team with you. You were in the stand at Sutton Coldfield, and Danny Wallace was playing, and he cut in from the right and had a shot, and everybody round was applauding, and you said, "Stop clapping, you'll want more money."
Well, you know Danny Wallace very well, then.
Out of all the players that you signed, Barry, who used to make you laugh the most? And have you got any funny stories you can tell us?
He's got loads.
Oh, Paul, stop it. You're going to be here till a week next Thursday now.
If I started with them, I'd miss the game Saturday at Middlesbrough, lads. No, wow. A lot of people have asked me who was the best player I felt that I had, and Dominguez, Dacey, Claridge, Hunt, but the millions of them really. But the best player for me that done the most was Mark Ward.
Mark Ward, yeah.
I got him for nothing, but to get him the money he wanted, I had to tell Karen that I was going to make him a player coach. I never made him a player coach, but that's why I had to help Karen to get a few more quid. But Wardy was brilliant on and off the field. He was a great leader of men. Everybody looked up to him, you know what I mean? And he ran the place for me on the field and off the field. And he contributed, in my opinion, the most, because he got hold of that midfield and pinged it about to players and all that, and scored his fair share of goals and what have you. So I think Wardy made the biggest influence on the thing. We had such banter in them days, such wonderful togetherness and team spirit. I wouldn't like to pick one different guy out, because they all took the out of each other, and it was you know what I mean? It was a laugh. It really was.
Yeah. I remember Ricky turning up in his was it his BMW he had with the bass bin in the back,
with the roof off.
Yeah. You could hear him. You could hear, he was arriving in Yardley. You could hear him from Solihull, like arriving to training.
Yeah. Ricky, crazy man.
He's still crazy.
Some proper good characters, though, weren't they?
Yeah.
They was all different, but the beauty of it is they all moulded into one. You know what I mean? They all complemented one another, so to speak. And it was the best 2.5 years of my life, no doubt.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Well done. Thanks for saying that, bud.
Marvellous.
Paul, have we got any questions coming in from our audience tonight, mate?
Yeah,
we've got about 20,000.
We've got loads. So we've got one off Craig. Can you ask Baz, when he bought Liam Dace to the club, did he know he was going to head anything, no matter how big or small it was?
I did, because I'd seen a lot of him. Well, I'll tell you a story. He was at Cambridge United when I was at Barnet, and Chris Turner was the manager of Cambridge, and I loaned Dacey at Barnet. So right. I knew when I come to Birmingham City, he'd had a few injuries, and we paid 50 grand for him, which was nothing. But I know Karen tried to get out of that deal. She thought I was buying a cripple, but I knew he was a man mountain, mate. He tackled double-decker buses, and he had 747s away. He was my Captain Marvel, Dacey, no doubt about that. You know. I knew about him because he'd played for me before, and I knew sort of character. He was a winner, miserable, but a winner.
He was a class act. He was a Captain Marvel, we called him, didn't we? And So a couple of questions coming in from Stephen Gill. Who contacted you about Jose Dominguez? How did you find out about Jose?
Right. At the time, I had Lil Fucillo, who was manager of the under-21s and a scout for me. And he said Dave Hodgson, who was in Portugal, had recommended this player. Now, and he was going to send some videos. I'm not a manager that watches videos. I want to go and watch you. I want to watch you, what you do off the ball and all that. So I said to Lil, no, David will have to bring him over here, right? And I'll have to have a look at him. So Odgie rang me up and he said, look, I've got, he was with Benfica at the time. And he said, look, I can get him over for a week's training. But he said, you'll have to put him up in the hotel. So I said, yeah, no problem. So I phoned Karen. I said, look, I've got this Portuguese boy coming over that I want to look at. I want to put him in the Hyatt and all that for a week. She said, no. I went, oh. So I went in her office and I said, why have you said no? She said, we ain't got any money. I said, we couldn't get David Sullivan on the phone. So she got David on the phone. I went, David, I've got this player coming over and, it'll cost us 80 grand if we sign him. And he wants to stay in the hotel for a week. Can we afford that? He went, no. I went, oh, fine. So I said, well, okay, if I have him over for a week and get somebody to sponsor the hotel for a week and we decide to pay the 80 grand, will you reimburse the hotel? So he said no. Fair enough. So anyway, we had him over and he was sensational. I mean, remember the where we trained was like a ploughed field and he was sensational. So anyway, I arranged this. I said to Karen, we've got this game tomorrow, Karen. I said, I'd like you to see this Jose Dominguez play. She went, oh, what time? I said, we're kicking off at 1 o'clock and I'm going to have it. It's St Andrews. She said, okay, I'll be there. Anyway, we didn't. We kicked off at 10:30. And by the time she got there, I told all the players, I said, look, go to Karen and tell her this boy is sensational, which he was. All the lads loved him in training. Sensational, we got to sign him. So anyway, she got there, she come up, storming in my office. She said, I thought you was going to have a game. I said, I had it this morning. She went, yeah, why? Why didn't you tell me? I said, I forgot, sorry. She said, anyway, all the players have told me what a fantastic player he is. I went, yeah, I know he is. I told you that, Karen. She went, oh, I said, can I come in your office with you and we'll phone David Sullivan? She said, yeah, of course. So I phoned David Sullivan. I said, look, we've had this game. He's been here all week. We want to sign him. He's different class. So he said, yeah, but we haven't really got the money back. I said, well, Karen's seen him. She thought he was great as well. I went, yeah, David, all the players told me he's good. But I said that she'd seen him, And so I said, let's put it this way, David. If I said to you, give me 80 grand and I'll turn that 80 grand into $1 million, what would you do? He said, give you the 80 grand. I said, okay, I'll sign him this afternoon.
Oh, God.
Hey, and we did. We got 1.8 million off Sporting Lisbon for him.
And I think you before we went live, Baz, we made 12.5 million profit as a club on all your signings.
Yeah, you talk about all the players I had, all the good ones, all the bad ones. I still made a profit of 12.5. There's not many managers can say that. And
absolutely.
And had the fun and the enjoyment goes with it as well.
Yeah.
But
giving us that fun and enjoyment as well.
Jose was like, I'll never forget. I went to a local working men's club, but I used to go around Birmingham and do them, and got asked all sorts of silly questions. And one particular day, the guy said. He said something about Jose. I love Jose Dominguez. He's fantastic guy, and blah 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 blah. So one of the blue noses shout from the audience, "Yeah, you wouldn't like him if you come home and found him in bed with your missus, would you?" so he turned around. I'll never forget this. He turned around. He says, "If I open the door and see him giving my missus one, I'd go back to the pub and let him finish it off." They love Jose. They absolutely love him.
Oh, God, we so knew this was going to happen tonight, didn't we, guys?
I'm in so much trouble.
Baz, talk to me about Rui Estevez. He's got to be the shortest cameo role in the first team in history.
What happened to him?
Rui Estevez.
Rui Estevez.
Put him on for about 10 minutes and brought him back off, did you?
Never saw him again.
Well, I didn't know nothing about him. He appeared one day, and I had to look at him, and I obviously didn't fancy him. So he was I can't take the credit for bringing him into the club.
Who did?
He played at Orient in the semi-final.
Yeah.
He played at Orient in the second leg of the semi-final of the windscreen, and he played 45 minutes, and we never saw him again. So you don't put a trialist on in a semi-final.
You know, and I know, it's all a matter of opinions, football, and obviously I didn't fancy him.
Sorry, what do you think about the song that was made about you? Fly Barry Fly is a hell of a guy.
Oh, all my grandchildren sing it. But they get it on YouTube or something, don't they? It's absolutely fantastic. So somebody sent me a thing and I played it, and wow. I couldn't remember all them players that they mentioned, by the way.
Are you ready?
They were all yours.
What do you make of football nowadays compared to back when you was managing in the 90s? Like, what do you make of it today?
the game's completely changed in so many ways, and some of the ways it's not for the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, me too.
It's it's all money orientated nowadays, and sportsmanship's gone out the window, and what have you. And it's just greed and more greed and more greed. Like these 6 people, the way to break away. They forgot there's a pyramid, and if you're good enough, that even non-league clubs have got that. If you're a supporter of whoever, Kidderminster or somebody like that, you want that ability to, if you're good enough, to rise through the leagues, through the pyramid, to go all the way up, like Wimbledon did. They went all the way down as well, but at least they went up, and you've got to have that in football, people. And also with all the football clubs, they're brilliant for the communities of that town, that city. And it's all changed. It's all gone. The Premiership's going to Mars now. We'll be playing on Mars soon, and they've forgot about where they come from, the genuine football clubs and all that. They want to leave us behind. It's just greed and greed. And unfortunately, the real supporter with a cloth cap, he can't afford to take his kids to football anymore in the Premier League. They're pricing it out. It's such a shame.
Was it Bury that got a proper town with proper fans, old school whippets, caps, newspapers, and a bag and a pint of beer?
I know.
And you take that away from them. That
Terrible.
Football League, that Premier League is a disgrace.
Yeah. Paul, there's a few more questions, is it, Paul?
Yeah, fantastic one coming in from friend of the show and actor Tim Faraday, Baz here.
Actor, please, Paul. Actor.
Friend. He's asking how good was Peter Shearer, Baz. I thought he was brilliant with Wardy in the middle. Which he was.
Yeah, he was my unsung hero. He used to do a lot of the dirty work that goes unnoticed, but the players appreciated what he contributed to the team. He was great, and he come up with a few goals as well. But he was strong. He was great. Like he said, him and Wardy midfield run it so many times. It was brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the word Shearer. Of course, Alan Shearer. Benno was the only goalkeeper to ever save a penalty from him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We actually found that.
Who? Can we do a who? Can we do a who? Because we're running.
Benno was my first signing.
Yeah. Oh, was he? Oh, right.
Benno was my first signing. I bought him from, funny enough, Peterborough, 150 grand. And he stayed, 11 or 12 years. He was fantastic for Birmingham City. Fantastic.
My son.
Great lad as well.
My son has got a pair of Benno's gloves signed, right? Barry, I promise you, I have a whole room dedicated to Birmingham City in my house. You've seen it, Chris. Yeah? And Benno's gloves are on my wall. And when we interviewed Benno, the first thing my lad said was, mate, Benno, he was like, over, he's 35 now, but it don't matter, because, we all get emotional, don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
And he says,
what a lovely man, isn't he?
That moment, do you know what my son did? He's donated that pair of gloves to my museum. I love my children so much, mate. You know what? You may have been able to have the absolute fortune of walking your 4 kids out at Wembley, but I have the absolute fortune. My daughter doesn't really like football, but I have the absolute fortune of my 3 boys being Birmingham City fans, and they could sing "Keep Right On" before they could say "Mom" or "Dad."
Yeah. Many happy returns to Benno as well. It was his birthday.
Oh yeah, it was.
Was it really?
Oh, crikey.
We need to crack on, Liz. We really need to crack on now. Can we do a who?
Yeah,
crikey, yeah, I better get that.
What we do now, Baz, we play a clip for 15 seconds of a player talking. He had a very brief spell under your management for us. And we want
that could have been one of 167 people.
Yeah, we want to see if you can get it with these. And
I was going to say, I haven't got that good a memory. Go on, try me.
And we had him on loan. He made a couple of appearances, and
Not too many clues.
But just give us the first letter of his surname if you think you know who it is. and then we'll see if our viewers can get it.
Okay, you ready? Here we go.
I wouldn't say fantastic performance. I think it's a fantastic result, and to score 6 goals, obviously. I don't think we've played great, but I thought we were very clinical, and on the count we were very, very good. And when we got in and around the box, we were again clinical.
Any ideas? Any ideas, Barry?
His surname is S.
It is indeed correct.
I don't think we've ever got anybody get it first time,
Yes,
have we?
we have once previously.
Right. Oh, crikey. That was
Wow.
good. That was good going. Woof. Woof.
Yeah.
Not bad for a 76-year-old bloke who should have dementia by now. Oh dear.
One more
I
time.
don't think...
One more play once more for the viewers.
Go on then. Okay, here we go.
I wouldn't say fantastic performance. I think it's a fantastic result, and to score 6 goals, obviously. I don't think we've played great, but I thought we were very clinical, and on the count we were very, very good. And when we got in and around the box, we were again clinical.
I think has somebody got it on the show box.
While that's rumbling on, Paul, I really am consciously aware that we're running out of time. Have you? Did you ask Barry to do a 1 to 11?
No, we haven't. No.
Okay.
So,
No. We wouldn't get time, to be honest.
Listen, lads. Well, I'll stay till the end of the show. Not a problem. Just go
Oh,
on.
you're a hero. You're a hero.
Oh, we don't finish
You're a
till
hero.
2 in the morning, Barry.
No problem. As long as we're training ground at 8:30 in the morning, I don't care.
No. We got 19 minutes to go. 19 minutes to go.
Wow.
Barry, checks in the post. The biggest lie in history. You know what, Barry? We've done this as Birmingham City fans for now 11 seasons, and we've had an incredible time and an incredible team. We've got to really thank Craig Courtney for all the work that he does behind
Great
the scenes.
job.
For brilliant team. And we couldn't do this on a Monday night. Normally we gather together in the studio, right? But we just simply couldn't do this without each other. And you know what? How much have we been paid, Chris, in 11 years?
Let me just count it up. I think it's 53 pence.
Yeah, it could be.
we've had a few people guess for Cole Shutt, and that's not correct.
Yeah.
Andy Saville is incorrect as well. He was a good player, wasn't he, Baz, when you came in for us?
Andy Saville.
Yeah, he missed a penalty against Kidderminster, that's all.
Yeah.
Me
Could
job.
you imagine, Barry, right, how I had to go to work on that Monday morning after that game?
I know.
Go on then, Baz. You want to tell us who it is?
Go on, buddy. Nobody's got it.
John Sheridan.
Correct.
What? Oh, man.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive.
Who was the 6 goals he was talking about? I don't remember. I remember some 7s, but not 6s.
It was.
Didn't we go to Barnsley and win 6-0?
We did, but he wasn't the manager of the Blues when he had that interview. Though it was quite recent. That was when he was
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
But we did go to Barnsley and win 6-0. Baz, you remember that? Ken Charlie.
Yeah.
Ken Charlie.
Yeah.
We also
John
went
Smith's
to
just said-
Oxford. We won 7-0 at Oxford, didn't we?
Yeah, we
I
beat
7-1
we
at...
beat
No,
Blackpool.
sorry, 7-0 at Stoke and 7-1 at Oxford.
That's correct. Yeah.
Blackpool.
7-1
New
at
Year's Eve.
Blackpool.
Yeah, that was New Year's Eve. That was. So remember that.
New Year's Day, yeah. Because George Parris scored his one and only goal.
Yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
John Smith just said it was Bury away.
Very well.
Yeah, Louis Donoghue got an unreal goal in that 7-1 against Blackpool. Didn't you? Do you remember?
Yeah.
From the when he took it all the way.
Yeah.
He was rapid when he Louis. He was unbelievably fast.
Yeah.
Have we got any more competitions, gentlemen?
No, I think we're-
Nothing. No.
No.
Right. Please be really, really, really conscious that, I couldn't come over to Birmingham tonight, and if I had it done, I'd have bought, I've got over £1,000 in my safe here ready for the PTSD charity. That will come over to Birmingham the next time I come over. I've just got to get a couple of issues with my car sorted out. It's MOT'd, it's insured, but I don't want to travel over on tray plates through work at the moment, so I'm awfully sorry about that. No,
Have you got a bike? Push bike?
Push bike.
See you next year,
What?
kid.
What about one of these electric scooters?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. I can imagine him on one of
They're
them.
all
Right, I'm
around
not-
now, aren't they?
Oh man, I'm being harassed tonight. I promise you. Right, them damn things should be insured. Right, you should take a
come on, let's
mandatory
not get out for
insurance.
them.
Horrible things. Horrible things.
Can I just read this question because he's been trying all night from Adam. He says, can you read this, please? Baz, for me, your best signing was Martin Skip O'Connor. Fan favourite and player favourite for the players that played with him. Definitely.
Didn't Trevor sign him, Baz?
Well, let me tell you about that.
Go on then.
When Trevor Francis took over, he rang me and he said he wanted to go through all the players that I'd left him. And even he said there was some missing because he was told I had 40-odd players and I didn't. I did. And I went through the players and I said, right, Trev, I've signed 2 players for you. Marcus Stewart, a centre forward, he'll get 25 goals for you next year, different class. And he said, well, I said, I've got a contract in my drawer, in my briefcase. I'll leave it with Karen and I'll leave it with at the club with Jack and all that. And the other one I've signed is Martin O'Connor, 3-year contract, both of them from Walsall. You'll have to go to the tribunal. And Trevor said to me he didn't know too much about either player. And then Karen phoned me up and said, look, Trevor don't want them players, so can you tell them because you signed them? So, in actual fact, I tried to get both of them to come to Peterborough because I took over at Peterborough. Martin agreed to come, Martin O'Connor, but Marcus Stewart, I think he went with Brucey and got Brucey up where he scored 25 goals or something.
Huddersfield, yeah.
Something like that. So, anyway, about 2 months into the season, I had a phone call from Karen to say, our staff want to know, would you sell Martin O'Connor? So I said, well, I came in here, Karen, and I've got Martin O'Connor. I paid 275 grand at a tribunal for him. But we ain't got a pot to piss in. We're struggling like hell.
15!
Yeah. No, so I finished up selling Martin for 575 grand to Birmingham, and Trevor took him, and he'd been a magnificent servant to Birmingham City ever since.
And ever since, even after that time, he still is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He still is.
yeah.
No,
And he was an absolute pleasure to interview on here.
Was, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
so he's a lovely man as well, and he loved time at Birmingham. The fans loved him as well because
Still do.
he was an all-rounder, and I was just absolutely pleased that he got there because Birmingham's a huge club compared to Peterborough, and he deserved it. And both him and Marcus Stewart, when I told them that Birmingham didn't want him, was heartbroken because they really wanted to go to Birmingham. Huh?
Do you feel sad, Barry, that a club, I mean, the size of our club could be monumental. It could be that nobody will just like pick it up and run with it. And
good question.
you know, like we look at the likes of Carson Young, bought the club for £82 million. He was a hairdresser in China. My son's a barber, and he will never do in barbering amass 82 million quid. Never. Right? Fit and proper person's test, the EFL, the Premier League. In my opinion, they're all corrupt on their own levels. Right, like Sepp Blatter when that chap threw the money at him. Huh?
Allegedly.
Thanks, Chris, for saving the show.
Disgraceful.
This guy's paid 300 million for Newcastle.
Yeah.
He could have bought Birmingham City for, let's say, 80 million. Right? And with that 300,000, he would make money out of us. He's not going to make any money out of it because to get them to where they want to go, he's 300 million behind already.
Yeah, he is, yeah. Yeah.
If he'd have lobbed it into a club like us,
and he's got
we
to
would
be in that team, otherwise they'll go down.
yes, of course, absolutely. Whereas you could put a quarter of that into our team at the moment and get us out of this division and have plenty
And
left.
get us up in the Premier League, exactly right. And be a hooker.
Why doesn't it happen?
Oh, what a comment coming here from Mark Meredith. He's just put, I remember when a friend of mine, a friend of mine's brother died. Barry invited us up to Peterborough so he could sign a picture for the funeral. Meant so much to the family of Barry.
Oh, bless. Nice one, mate. Oh, superb. From the heart, that one was. Right, okay. We're into the last 15 minutes, and you know what? For the life of me, and I know that we were working on this relentlessly over the last couple of days, ladies and gents, boys and girls. I can't remember what the subject was. Chris, what was the subject?
That's me. I wasn't watching.
Right,
marriages.
Weddings.
15
Weddings! Yes, we've got a
Weddings.
wedding this week. Anything to do with a wedding and football. Anything to do with a wedding and football. Off you go. I know that you're going to make me howl. I know that, the tears are going to run down my cheeks in a minute and I'm going to be apoplexed. But there you go. Weddings and football.
What we do now, Baz, is we do a word association, like where you can think of anything to do with football in a wedding. So, for example, I'm going to say Brian McBride. Remember him? He used to play.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, very good.
Malcolm
very
Page
good.
boy. Malcolm Page boy.
At my wedding, it'd have been Barry Fry up.
yeah, probably would. Yeah, you are a cheapskate.
Tim just said that we need Barry to come back and win the corner flags again.
Yeah. That was a good one.
and you really did that, Barry.
I did, yeah.
But Barry, did you really fall for it though?
I tell you what happened, right?
Go on, then.
we were struggling. We as I told you before, we beat Charlton, we beat West Brom, and then we went into the new year. And I don't think I won a game for 2 months. And we got beat by Kidderminster in the cup. And I was racking my brain, and Alan Jones come in to me and he said, what's the matter? I said, I can't get this right. You know what I mean? No matter what team I do. He said, it's not your fault. I said, it's not my fault. Of course it's my fault. I picked the team. Not tactics. I'm not a tactical man, but I picked the team. Of course it's my fault. He went, no, it's the gypsy's curse. I went, gypsy's curse? I'm not superstitious. He said, yeah. He said, Ron Saunders trying to get rid of it. I said, by doing what? He said, he had crosses on the dressing room floor, dressing room doors, crosses on the football boots. I said, what happened to him? He said he got the sack. I went, So I said, do you know anybody in the gypsy world? He went, yeah, I know the top bloke. I said, well, bring him down here, introduce me. So he fetched this guy down, and I said to this fella, look, mate, they reckon there's a gypsy's curse on St Andrews, and I want to try to get rid of it. Otherwise, Birmingham City will be getting rid of me. I can't win a game. So he said, you will have to urinate in 4 corners of the ground.
What a lovely word that was.
Well, yeah. So anyway, I tried to pick up, and lads, if you've ever tried to squirt on one corner flag, walk behind the goal, hold it in, and then squirt again, and then walk all round the touchline, do that. It took me 3 days, but I managed to do it.
And is that when we went on that unbeaten run and nearly stayed up?
Wouldn't take me 3 days.
Hey, but it didn't work. I still got the sack, didn't I, in the end?
Okay. Right, come on, read some more out, guys. Read some more out, please.
Okay. Vicar Otto.
Oh, Vicar Otto.
Cake Livermore. Malcolm Page voice from Pat Rice. Steve Vickers. Peter Confetti. That's mine.
I like that one.
Yeah. George Bestman.
I'm going to go for one, Chris. I'm going to go for one. Are you ready? Hotter chocolate fountain.
Hey. Jeff DeForce Field, Martin Oil McConnor, Diego married Donna.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Of course, with the hand of God.
that's absolutely brilliant.
Who was that one?
Hang on. That was from Jason Hughes. That's a
Well done, Jason.
That's a good one, yeah. Diego married Donna. I love it.
Oh, can I ask a question, actually, Chris?
Go on.
Barry, I said there's a lady watching called Jackie Barton. She's your biggest fan. She had a picture with you a few weeks ago. And can you say hello to her?
Hello, Jackie.
There you go. She met you the other week at the meet and greet, and she loves you to bits. There you go.
Now.
And we all love Barry to bits. Every
Keep
Birmingham
right
City fan, every Birmingham City fan loves Barry to bits. How could we not? What a character! What a time to be a Blues fan. You know what? When your kids are sitting next to you and they're laughing because he's like running up the pitch and all the away supporters going mental, and you know when you're told Sullivan, Gold, Brady, yes, I'll definitely take you out of this division. And then when you went for the meeting and told them that I didn't tell you which way we'd go. If ever in the history of Birmingham City, anybody was needed at that time to lift our spirits, it was, without doubt, Barry Fry. Without doubt.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
I'm glad I done.
And I'm not being funny, ladies and gents. I'm picking my toenails while I'm saying this.
What do you think you'd have done if you hadn't been a football manager?
Comedian.
I haven't got a clue. I think I'm so lucky, you know. This is my 61st season in football.
Whoa.
And
Unbelievable.
When I got the sack at Blues, I've been in Peterborough for 26 years. So I'm 76 now. I am so lucky to be involved in something that I love. And if I had the money, I'd give it. Well, I did have the money. Peterborough was going into administration. So I said, I'll buy it. And the owner at the time says, you ain't got a pot to... He knew me well. He said, no, but I've got properties. So I sold my property in Portugal, 180 grand, put it into the club.
Wow.
And then I went home and had some forms to say to Kirst, you know, I'm taking out a 300 grand second mortgage on the house. And I've sold the property in Portugal. She said, oh, what we're buying, a mansion? I went, no, we're buying a football club. So she said, do you know what you're doing? I went, yeah, of course. You said that and we finished up with 4 kids. Anyway, when I got it, I took the second mortgage out. I took my pension out early, put it into Peterborough. I had a testimonial against the Manchester United. Sir Alex fetched his full first team down. I got 258 grand. I put it into football club. The deeds of my mother-in-law's house, I had to give to Barclays Bank to get an overdraft. So I've done everything, absolutely everything, to keep this club afloat. And I was still struggling. I had to find 150 grand every month to pay the wages.
Jesus.
Then Big Ron come in to do that Big Ron programme that got me 150 grand for 3 months to keep us going as well. And then the owner, that's the owner now, seen that television documentary and come and bought the club off me for £1. But my wife says to me that she loved me so much she'd live in a tent down the river with me. She don't know how fucking close she is.
Wow. You know what? You know what, Barry, we are completely committed to our Monday nights. We're completely committed to our Monday nights, without doubt. We do this so that Birmingham City fans around the world can connect. If ever they build a statue outside St Andrews, I genuinely hope it's for me.
Yeah.
Right, we're 4 minutes in. Okay, weddings.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
With 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I've got 3 minutes. Right, weddings, Chris. Come on, weddings.
Okay, so we've got. I'm going to go right way back. Bob top hat on.
Oh yeah.
Very clever. Very clever.
Martin
Martin G. Ring O'Grager.
Right.
That might be a bit naughty.
Bit deep, that one.
It was, yeah.
That could be 16 swear words of the night.
Amari Bellringer.
Oh, I like that one. Who did that one? Who did that one?
Simon Andrews, well done.
Simon, that's... From me, sorry, mate. That's the best one so far.
Yeah,
Come on,
here we go. Mary Fry.
Oh.
And I think my favourite, Stephen Wedding Car.
Yeah. Stephen Wedding Car. Brilliant.
And that's a lot.
Who was your football hero growing up, Barry?
Billy Wright.
Billy Wright.
Billy Wright.
Yeah, I used to watch. I used to watch Wolves in black and white. First team I ever watched on telly. I didn't have a telly. I used to go across the road, and I supported Wolves for some reason, because they was the first side, and Billy Wright was my favourite player. Unbelievable. Yeah, I know. Good job it's the last minute, otherwise.
So Nick, we're going to go out now, but we're going to go out a bit unconventionally. We don't normally go out. Hang on, because we're going to go out with Barry singing "Keep Right On."
Goodbye from Chris Browne.
Goodbye.
Mark Adams.
Good night, everyone. Stay safe.
Paul Hipkiss.
Good night, everyone.
Alan Watton, and for myself.
Good night, everyone.
And this one, ladies and gentlemen, is going to go down in history because we've had a legend and a man that is loved through St Andrews, true and true and true. Ladies and gentlemen, singing "Keep Right On."
Keep right on
to the end of the road. Keep right on to the end.
Though the way be long, let your heart be strong. Keep right on to the end. Though you're tired, weary, still journey on. Till you come to your happy abode, where all you love, you've been dreaming of will be there. Where at the end of the road.
Never, ever
Nice one, Barry.
forgotten. A legend of our football club, part of our lives, part of our family. Chris Browne, Paul Hipkiss, Alan Watton, myself. You know what, Barry? Right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Wow.